In this video, we're going to have a look at two words that many students find confusing. We're going to have a look at understand and comprehend. Two words that maybe you too find confusing. So to help explain how we use the two, I'm going to take a little bit of a different approach than what you may normally be used to. So to begin with, let's have a look at, first of all, before seeing examples, let's have a look and see how the two words relate to each other. So to begin with, what part of speech do they fall under? I understand. I comprehend. They're verbs. So both of these words are verbs. So that makes it easy, sort of. Now, like many other words in English, when two words are verbs and they mean the same thing, you can change them. These two are a little bit different. In certain circumstances, you can change one for the other. So to begin with, before we look at examples, let's have a look at a group of words that mean the same thing within the English thesaurus. And then I'll explain what the heart means and the puzzle piece. But to begin with, let's have a look at these words. To understand means that we grasp something. I grasp that. It means I get it. It means to know. Yes, I know that. It also means to perceive. To perceive. What does to perceive mean? To perceive means that we generally make some sort of a judgment on something based on our values and our experiences. So we perceive something. We can guess what something is based on all of our background experiences and knowledge. I realise. It means to realise. Yes, I realise that. And that means similar to know. These are all very similar. Yes, it also means to accept. Yes, I accept that. Yes. And to see. Yeah, to see. This is a homophone because it means a number of things. So apart from physically seeing something, it also means to understand. Yes, I see. Yes, I understand. And a lot of these, to understand, actually relies a lot on our senses, our ability to know, to perceive, to see, to accept. Now, when we look at comprehend also means the same as understand. However, this little puzzle piece represents not the senses like the heart does. This represents things like logic, skill, ability. And again, comprehend also means to grasp. Yep, I get that. It also means to know. Yes, I know that because I have learned something beforehand, therefore I know. And discern, envisage, and assimilate. These are a little bit more sophisticated words in English that also mean to comprehend, to understand something. Now, the difference between the two of them are this. When we comprehend something, look at the other pen. When we comprehend something, what we actually rely on is skill, a skill. Because when we comprehend something, we actually have to learn how to comprehend. So we need to learn the skill of comprehension. Children at school have to learn how to comprehend. They do exercises, and maybe you do in your English classes. We do comprehension skills. Yeah? It's also very much about logic. Logic. Yes, I comprehend, I grasp something, I discern something, or envision or assimilate. So we need to use logic. We need to use reasoning, which is based on memory. So here are 4 things that we need to think about when we comprehend. To comprehend is a skill. It's something we learn. It's based on logic and it's based on reasoning. Now, when we understand something, okay, you could say we understand something because we've learned a skill. I understand this. But to understand actually means something else as well. To understand something is based on our intuition, not our logic all the time. So firstly, it's our intuition. It's based on our senses. So heart. How do we feel about something? So it's to do with our senses. It's about feelings. Yeah, intuition, senses, and feelings. So it's not really based on logic, reasoning, skill as such. And also it's based on judgment, initial judgment, intuitive judgment. Now, so does comprehension. We have to judge. We have to make decisions as well. But here we make judgments based on our emotions. So those two are very much linked. And so when we understand something, we don't necessarily have to learn anything. We just understand something. We don't necessarily need skills to understand something. Not always. They cross over, but the difference is that this relies more on our intuition, whereas this relies more on skill. And the other thing that we need to also think about is that it's casual. We use this in a more casual setting. Casual. We use comprehension in more formal conversations or settings. Now, let's have a look at some sentences where we can see whether comprehend or understand is a better fit based on having talked about how one is more intuitive and casual and one is more skills-based and logical. So let's have a look at 6 sentences here. Number 1, yes, I comprehend that. You're having a conversation with somebody and John says to you, I think I'm going to be late. Is that okay with you? Yes, I comprehend. Do you comprehend me? I don't know that I can go to the barbecue on Saturday. Oh, that's okay. I'll comprehend if you can't go. No. Jack's just told everybody he's leaving the company. Oh, I've just heard that you're leaving the company. I comprehend that you're leaving the company? No. And last sentence, she just doesn't comprehend how Julie feels. In all of these instances, even though it's a verb, Grammatically, all of these sentences are correct. However, to a native speaker, definitely no. Yes, I comprehend that. This first one, maybe you might hear that, perhaps. That's not completely uncommon. However, somebody really wouldn't necessarily say that. Yes, I comprehend. No. Do you comprehend me? No. And all the same, all the way down. No, no good. Let's now have a look and see what it sounds like when we use understand. Yes, I understand that. Tick. Yes, I understand. We often hear native speakers say that during conversations. Oh, I had a really fantastic, I had a fantastic weekend, and we had to catch the bus down to the beach, but we missed the 2:07, but we managed to get on the later bus. Oh, yes, I understand. For example, do you comprehend me? Do you understand me? That's what a native speaker would say. I will understand if you can't go. Yep. I understand. I understand that you're leaving the company. Yep. And lastly, she doesn't understand how Julie feels. And so this is what a native speaker would say. So we use the word understand when we're talking about sentences that are to do with perception, with intuition, with using our senses in order to understand something. Let's now have a look at some sentences where we would use comprehend as the preferred choice instead of understand. And in these sentences that I'm about to show you, we can use understand. That would be okay. However, we would choose comprehend as the first choice. So let's have a look. The kids failed to comprehend. The teacher is explaining something in class, they're not getting it, and so it's appropriate to say the kids failed to comprehend. Why? Because it's more use of our logic, our skill set. Number 2, I will better comprehend when I get the details or when I get the facts. Again, we need to process. So comprehend is more of a, well, we could say it goes through a bit of a process. Number 3, that story was too bizarre to comprehend. Too much to have to process, to use our logic, our skill set. And number 4, the first thing to comprehend is the formula. Now, number 5, this is interesting. The more you will comprehend, the more you will understand. And this sentence simply means the more you will use your skill set and your logic and your ability, academic ability, the more you will naturally, intuitively understand. And that's a classic sentence. And number 6, Max finds it hard to comprehend how they got lost. And again, all of these sentences really are more formal than casual because we tend to focus more on the use of our skill set rather than our senses. Now, having said that, of course, we can say the kids failed to understand. That's okay. I will better understand when I get the details. That story was too bizarre to understand. A native would say comprehend for sure. The first thing to understand is the formula. Number 5, that stays the way it is. And number 6, Max finds it hard to understand how they got lost. So we can actually change it around in these sentences. However, the preferred and first choice would be comprehend. Now that we've come to the last part of this mini lesson, let's have a look at how we use understand and comprehend as nouns. This may help to solidify the notion that when we understand something, we're talking more to our intuition, to our emotions and our senses. And when we comprehend something, we're speaking more to our logic and our skill set. Now, the two nouns would be understanding and comprehension, both nouns. So let's have a look at these 4 sentences. Simon and Kate had a mutual comprehension? That's no good. We would need to say Simon and Kate had a mutual understanding. Number 2, no comprehension was reached by the parties? No. We would have to say no understanding was reached by the parties. So no understanding. And number 3, my comprehension is that you will proceed? Oh, no, definitely not. So we certainly can't say that. My understanding is that you will proceed. My understanding is that you will proceed. And the last one, everyone was very comprehension? No, absolutely not. Once again, we would have to say everyone was very understanding. And there we have it. So if we look at each one of those sentences, they all represent our emotional. They talk to our emotions before they talk to our logic. So a mutual understanding, a mutual agreement. No understanding was reached. In other words, when we say no understanding was reached, we are talking about agreement. Number 3, my understanding is that you will. So my natural intuitive knowing is that you will proceed. And lastly, everyone was very understanding. In other words, if they understand, that's more related to the heart and the emotions than it is to the logic. So hopefully that may help give a little bit more light as to whether to use comprehend or to use understand. So on that note, I'm Larissa. See you in the next video.